Mr. Jagger, in my role as city attorney, I want to make the facts of this incident stand out from the emotions around it. The facts from your viewpoint, as the police officer involved in the shooting of your attacker, Michael Martin, will provide a definitive account of what you thought during this incident. Mr. Jagger, please, in your own words, tell the jury what you thought during the incident.
I saw Martin walking in the middle of the road, so I called him over to my vehicle to tell him to stay out of the middle of the road to avoid an accident. He became belligerent and reached inside my patrol vehicle, attempting to take my pistol. I was afraid he would take my weapon and kill me. During the struggle, I shot him in the arm, and he pulled back and away from my vehicle. I got out to see where he was going.
Why were you concerned about where Mr. Martin was going?
At this point, he had attempted to take my life, and was a fleeing felon from the scene. I was going to arrest him for attempted murder. I didn't want him to get into the housing area and take hostages or kill someone because I was concerned something wasn't right with him.
Why did you think there was a problem with him?
Attacking a police officer is a serious business, and if he did that to me, then he wasn't concerned about what he was doing to other people. And yeah, there was an additional problem. I knew he was shot, and I wanted to call for medical attention for him.
So you thought he might hurt someone and be hurt himself, so you wanted to protect the people in the area and even protect Mr. Martin?
Yeah. I got out of my truck, saw he was still close. He faced me, and it looked like he reached into his waistband of his pants. I thought he was reaching for a weapon, so I shot him. He charged me with his fist clenched, so I fired my weapon until he stopped.
Why didn't you use other methods, other non-lethal methods to stop him?
I thought I might be able to take him down, but he was big, real big. Looked almost 6.5 feet tall, about 300 pounds. So there was a chance I couldn't have controlled him. His adrenaline was pumping, and along with that big body, he might have taken me. Then we would have had this big guy with a pistol, this big guy armed, and me, the little cop, unarmed. I had to make a decision, so I didn't want to let that happen. There was a high chance of stopping him with my firearm, and only a fair chance of stopping him with my nightstick. I made a tactical decision to protect myself and the community.
Did you shoot to kill him?
I shot to stop him.
Then what happened?
I called for an ambulance and secured the scene.
How did you feel after the shooting?
Geez, I felt terrible. I felt good about doing my job just like I had been trained. A textbook, perfect example of policing, but terrible that I shot the guy. Then afterwards, I got pushed out of my job. I can't get another job in police work. I had the situation twisted in the press and unfairly made me look like a racist. I got hammered for doing what I was supposed to do. Nobody stood up for me for doing what was right. Nobody.
Again, officer, I'm here for the family of the deceased to ensure that their interests are represented, and their interest is that their son should have lived through his contact with you, which he did not. We have already established you shot and killed an unarmed black youth. You shot at him 12 times and struck him 6 times. During your television interview on this shooting, you said that asked yourself if it was legal to shoot him, and after feeling confident you were legally able to shoot, then you did so. You said you did what you were trained to do, didn't you, Officer Jagger?
Yes, I did.
In front of you is a record of all the modules you received training on in the police academy. Please show me the module that trained you to shoot an unarmed man.
Well, I didn't get trained specifically for everything that ever would happen. Nobody ever is. Life has too many situations. But I did get trained so I could defend myself if attacked, and that is what I did, Counselor.
You made tactical decisions based on your training, so would you say the quality of your tactical decisions depends in a very big part on the quality of your preparation for those tactical decisions?
Sure. Of course.
If you did not prepare your mind and your equipment and your body for a tour of duty, then would you say you had responsibility if a situation went wrong?
Not really. Some situations can't be helped. Some suspects will not act rationally. So if I wasn't ready for a shift, it doesn't make me responsible.
So, if you are responsible to be ready for a tour of duty, then you would have to say you were irresponsible if you were not ready, wouldn't you?
People make mistakes. Come on, who doesn't? But I didn't make a mistake with Mr. Martin. I controlled a dangerous man before he could help hurt me or others.
Did you prepare everything you would have needed to use for duty that day, and did you have it ready if needed?
Yes.
In reference to your tools, please tell me what working equipment you had issued to you and that was available for use at the time you had the incident with Mr. Martin.
Two-way walkie-talkie by Motorola, one police package Tahoe with a car radio, a 40 caliber Sig Sauer with two spare clips, handcuffs, baton, and a shotgun in the trunk.
Hey, I test drove a Tahoe. That is a very large and comfortable vehicle, isn't it?
Yeah, very big, very comfortable.
Did you have a taser?
Nope.
Does your department have tasers for you to use?
Yup.
Why didn't you carry one that day?
Too big to carry.
In that large Tahoe, did you not have room for that taser?
Too big for my belt.
But you could have carried it in your vehicle, couldn't you?
I didn't and didn't have to.
Did your department have a procedure you were trained in to carry a taser while on patrol?
Nope. They surely did not, so I didn't carry it. If I lost it, I'd have to pay for it, and it didn't fit on my belt. I might have lost it.
If you had a taser, would you have been able to stop Mr. Martin without using lethal force?
Woulda, shoulda, coulda. I didn't have one.
Did you receive training to take down uncooperative attackers with a taser?
Yeah.
Did you have pepper spray?
Not issued.
Forbidden?
No, but not given.
Could have driven away a short distance away and monitored Mr. Martin?
Maybe and maybe not. I made a tactical decision.
Did you use unarmed control methods?
Way past that when he went for my pistol.
Did you try your police baton?
I already shot him and he didn't go down. Why waste my time and take risks with my baton?
Did you consider any non-lethal options at all?
Counselor, the situation was way past that tactically.
You are telling me that in addition to not preparing to carry two non-lethal weapons that could have saved Mr. Martin's life, that you didn't even consider the non-lethal options you could have used? Are you even serious about protecting lives?
It was a tactical decision and I did what I was trained to do.
Only if you were trained as an executioner. Officer, hands up. Don't shoot. Objection. Counsel is engaging in inflammatory political theater.
Both attorneys in my chambers. You two are going to work out whatever drama you have right here and right now. This is an administrative court, not a theater. Get it out of your system because if it gets out of hand back in my courtroom, I will hand out contempt of 30-day court sentences for every word I don't like.
Officer Jaeger did not even consider any other options but killing an unarmed youth. Officer Jaeger was attacked and he shot the attacker, firing only to stop the attacker, nothing more. Everything else that follows has been political theater. Martin did not have the right to be unharmed while attacking other people and threatening their life. He was a predator who robbed and attacked a store owner and attacked a cop to try to take his gun to kill the cop, and after being shot, he attacked again. It is the why that matters here. Why he was even stopped for walking down the street. He was stopped for walking while black and he received a death sentence for it. He was stopped for being a safety hazard for traffic and nothing more. Again, it is the why that matters here. Officer Jaeger decided not to take several non-lethal weapons on patrol with him, leaving him unprepared for a conflict with an unarmed man. This would be like the eye surgeon showing up at your surgery with a sword instead of a scalpel. Then, after blinding you, telling you he made the best decisions with the tools he had available. This is not what blind justice is supposed to mean. The fact is that a man almost 6.5 feet tall and almost 300 pounds attacked a cop and tried to take the cop's weapon. That is attempted murder. Once he already tried to murder the cop and got shot, it was time to surrender. Justice has already been served. You are stuck in the what happened mode, counselor. It is why it happened. That is important because it shouldn't have happened at all. He could have brought pepper spray, which could have stopped Martin. He could have used his baton, which could have stopped Martin. He could have brought the taser, which would have stopped Martin. He could have called for backup, which could have stopped Martin. He could have talked to the young man with respect, which could have stopped the situation before it started. It makes me ill to believe that you could stand behind the racist police. In San Bernardino, a police officer led people out of a building that came under terrorist attack and told everyone, "Get behind me! I will be the first one who will take a bullet before you do." He didn't make lines based on race. He did not say, "I'm here only to defend whites or Hispanics or blacks." He said to everyone to get behind him. That officer had no color line. I am not only defending this man here today, I am defending all the men and women defending us. I didn't expect your client to confess, but you? You? We wouldn't even be here if you could have compromised or made some concessions and negotiated a good faith settlement. There will be no confession. There will be no compromise. There will be no concession. I will stand in front of anything you have to throw at these men and women until the damn sun falls from the sky or I die. Get off your soapbox, counselor. Your police officer did not come prepared for duty, and that is why a young man was killed. I'm not going to let this trial go the way of every legal proceeding to date, which have both figuratively and literally been whitewashes. Your Honor, I am the voice of the crowd, ready to riot outside the courtroom. I am the voice of the hundreds of thousands of people marching to let people know that Black Lives Matter. We will be heard. Your Honor, I believe the court should halt proceedings while Ms. Tenedor is evaluated by a court-appointed psychiatrist to document the Messiah complex that has disintegrated her sense of proportional reality.
That is enough of that, Mr. Torino. Whether you two have worked it out of your system or not, you have had the opportunity to do so. Ms. Tenedor, put a fork in it, as that line of questioning is done, and I don't want to hear it. You have one case here and not a class action lawsuit. If you want to represent your clients well, then conduct a good cross-examination and not stage a street protest, counselor.
Your Honor, following the attack, people lied about seeing it and lied about what they saw, making this a national incident. In truth, the attacker had robbed the store and assaulted the store owner before he attacked the police officer. Following the shooting, one of the plaintiffs of this suit urged by bystanders to burn the mother down, and bystanders did burn our town. There's an epidemic of violence in America with Black communities at the epicenter. Awarding money to the family who led the burning of our town after their son robbed and assaulted a shopkeeper, then attacked a police officer to attempt to kill him, then even after being shot was so determined on harming the police officer that he continued his attack. That award would send the wrong message about law and order. Now police officers nationwide are not policing our communities as they should for fear of being here today in the same position former Officer Jaeger is now. We are responsible to the entire nation who needs their men and women in blue to be able to put criminals back in orange. I know this trial will not resolve racial tension in America, but it can address one of the causes of heightened racial tension, which is inadequate policing of our communities. Mr. Torino surely has no objections to helping the men and women defending us to have an adequate budget for equipment and training.
All I ask of you both is that you make your case by supporting your claim with legal reasoning and with vigorous evidence warranted to your reasons. If either of you make statements I interpret as statements made to inflame the courtroom, and I will give you 30 days for each word in that statement. Mrs. Tenador, I understand a mistrial may benefit your client here and force more negotiations for settlement, but that may backfire on you. Surely, you both can see that some incidents have more than one perspective or even two perspectives because an issue is more complicated than what one person or one group sees in its entirety. Legal reasoning can help this family understand why their son has died and help this young police officer understand if he should do things differently and help this community understand the facts, not the feelings, not the biases, not the political or personal agendas, but the facts that led to its businesses and streets and homes to burn. That is the role of the court. I urge both of you to consider your roles as representatives of the justice system.
Sorry, Your Honor. May I proceed with questioning?
Proceed.
You knew at the scene that you could easily escape him, and you knew you could shoot him if you didn't escape. Why would you be fearful if you were so safe?
To protect all the citizens in the area that day.
And did you see this wounded young man threaten or attack anyone else?
No, but I knew he wasn't acting right, so he wasn't predictable.
So the only person he actually threatened was you, and you could have put yourself out of reach by a 5-second drive.
I gave ground. He advanced. Then I made a tactical decision to protect the citizens in the area. He was a felon who needed to be arrested for attempted murder and assault of a police officer.
You said earlier that you made a decision based on the probability that you could not use non-lethal measures against Mr. Martin. What probability rating would you give yourself of taking him down with non-lethal measures?
I had a 95% chance of taking him down with non-lethal measures, but I couldn't let that 5% chance happen that he would take my pistol from me and shoot someone in the community. I could not live with that chance. I take my defense and protect code seriously.
Would a round fired from your weapon be a possible threat to a life?
Yes.
So in your rendition of textbook perfect policing, Officer Jaeger, Mr. Martin touched or threatened to touch no one in the area, yet you fired 12 rounds at him. 6 of those rounds traveled into the adjacent community housing and open areas. If you had a 95% chance of stopping without shooting him and only a 50% chance of hitting him when you shot at him, wouldn't the only tactical decision to make to use non-lethal weapons so your stray rounds did not kill those you swore to protect? In fact, wouldn't you say you were the only threat to the community that day, officer?
It was a good shoot. I stopped the threat. He made his criminal choice, counselor, and I made my legal choice.
You chose not to bring equipment that would have stopped him without killing him and without risking threat to our community. If an oral surgeon preparing to remove your wisdom tooth did not bring his surgical tools to perform the operation, would you think he fulfilled the mandates of his profession? If he went by the local supermarket and went to the dead meat section and took the meat cleaver, what would you call him as he swung the meat cleaver across your jaws 12 times?
What?
He would be a butcher, just like you were when you butchered Mr. Martin, because you only brought the police equivalent of the meat cleaver to do the job respectful words were meant to do. Objection, Your Honor. The only butcher here is Miss Tenedor, who is butchering due process.
I declare this a mistrial. Bailiffs, clear the courtroom and take Mrs. Tenedor into custody.
Justice, Your Honor, is not just for us. On the other side of the cash line, on the other side of the color line, the bottom line is just less. I would be honored to be in contempt of a court that had both literally and figuratively whitewashed justice.